This is On the Subject, the show discussing film, TV, and beyond, with your hosts Logan Noggle and Zachary Jackson, featuring Malcolm Russell Nelson. Everybody, go with the theme song.
I gotta mentally prepare myself for the Alec Baldwin line. Every Alec Baldwin line in this movie, I literally wrote down in my notes.
My favorite is like one single word towards the end.
The monologue that they cut, I want. The director talks about how they had shot the monologue.
It's Ethan Hunt. You've had a very busy week.
I saw something on Twitter earlier where somebody was like, Humley in Fallout says, "Good God, Ethan," just the way he says, "Good God, Lemon."
You're right. He does. Oh, he's really good in Fallout. He's having a good time in that movie.
Missions are for closers.
I literally brought that up in the interview too. He's like, "How do you do that with Baldwin, who's like the closer guy?"
Yeah.
How do you give him such epic speech? He's like, "Oh, that was all just sad."
He just does it.
That was just him. Oh my God. All right. Rogue Nation. An anti-IMF.
That's it.
That's it.
Good movie. A+.
Change nothing. Let's get out of here.
We're good.
You seen it?
Cut the check.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, just share with somebody.
Casper mattresses. I have a Casper mattress. I love sleeping on it. It's great. It's super comfortable. They mail it to you really fast. 100-day return policy. Use the item code or use the coupon code Rogue Nation.
Oh. Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation. All right. I am.
This is never happening.
This is not happening. We're not playing the game next week. We're recording next week because we're gonna have to record this episode.
Hey everybody, we are back. Mission Impossible continue. Hey,
Mission Impossible never stops.
It never stops. You know what? You can't.
Mission Impossible. That's what I signed up for when I did this podcast today.
More
it's
like
impossible.
Episode Impossible.
Oh, nice. That was way better. All right, I can admit that was better.
This is the Paper Robots Podcast, and I am joined by Zach and Malcolm as we continue the Mission Impossible franchise in the film, in series in review.
You're doing so well there.
Rogue Nation, so good. So glad to have you. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks. Nailed it.
That's it.
Go with it.
Go with it.
Go with the thing. Cue the dance party. That's a deep cut for anyone who watches.
That is a deep cut. That's a deep friendship cut. All right.
So, Rogue Nation is basically a direct sequel to Ghost Protocol.
Are we actually going with what you just did, or
Yeah, sure.
That was stupid.
And there's the bumper. And I am joined by
Zach
and Malcolm?
Coming off of Ghost Protocol, and we're going straight into Rogue Nation.
Number 5, Rogue Nation. Written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie. The story is from Christopher McQuarrie and Drew Pearce, writer of Iron Man 3 and Hotel Artemis, which just recently came out. So Mission Impossible Rogue Nation was released in 2015. It's a action movie. What? This continues the franchise of Ethan Hunt stories. Tom Cruise plays Ethan Hunt. Simon Pegg is back as Benji. Jeremy Renner is back as Brandt. You got some new players in there. Rebecca Ferguson, Alec Baldwin, Sean Harris, Solomon Lane.
Should your mission, should you choose to accept it? He talks.
He's so good. Let's get into the movie. So the movie starts off.
Minsk.
Yeah, in Minsk.
No, that's actually the second.
Yeah, I like that. That's what stood out to you was that it was in Minsk. I know that place. It's Minsk. I know that green field, the green airfield in Minsk. So we start off with a mission. We got Benji in a ghillie suit, and Luther, played by Ving Rhames. Which, by the way, this is being recorded a few days after the Ving Rhames incident. Do you guys know about that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, do you not know? Oh, Ving Rhames' neighbors called the cops on him.
Oh, yes. I actually did. I read about
because
this
they're like,
today.
"Hey, black guy breaking into Ving Rhames' house."
And turns out it was Ving Rhames
It
walking
was
into
Ving
his
Rhames
home.
walking into his home.
And he got held up at gunpoint.
Anyway, this is 2018, everybody. So in the movie, Ving Rhames is up in a control tower.
Also, just, good vibes.
Yeah, good vibes to Ving Rhames. Like, listen, I bag on the guy, but I mean,
I was actually gonna bring that up.
yeah, listen, no, I bag on the guy, but I mean, come on, like, he's Luther.
Yeah.
He just paid $8,000 for his Gucci shoes. You know? So they're on a mission. They're trying to figure out how to slow down this plane that's about to take off. The plane has Chechen terrorists that have a bunch of nerve gas on the plane, right? They're trying to figure it out. Brant is in a control room back at Langley, or back in Washington. They don't specifically say like Langley, but
In an office.
yeah, in a control room, you know, and he's running the mission. He's telling them, you know, like, you guys are running out of time, because that's just what Brant does. He's really good at countdowns. We learned that in Ghost Protocol. And then all of a sudden, the plane starts to take off, and then Ethan shows up and says, "Listen, Benji, can you open the door?" And Benji's like, "Yeah, I think so." And so Benji's remote hacking while he's still wearing the ghillie suit, which is amazing. He's remote hacking on his tablet, and Ethan runs and hops onto the side of the plane, and then the plane takes off before Benji can open the door. And so it's Ethan Hunt on the side of a plane, which is nuts.
Yeah, so this is like the stunt of the movie. Well, I actually think there's later on better stunts, personally.
Yes, but this was the big money stunt
This was
that
the
sells
money,
you on the
yeah,
movie.
Exactly.
This one, like, they marketed really hard.
Yes, like, it's on the movie poster. Like, this is the one that they were like, we're gonna push this movie with this stunt.
And it's what we talked about in Ghost Protocol, where it's like they really start, like, Tom Cruise really starts amping up his stunts in this, and like, hey, I want to do something that's like very crazy.
Yeah, what's crazier than climbing the Burj Khalifa? Oh, it goes hang off the side of a friggin' C-130
as it literally takes off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to just, like, before we go too advanced
Yes.
too far, immediately like that. Once again, I think taking from what was learned with Brad Bird, moving into Rogue Nation is like immediately opening up, setting a not the darkest tone, which is cool when it shifts to the
Yes.
but opening up, and we're seeing Benji, Simon Pegg, in the field. He is active.
Literally just in a ghillie suit.
And then him
That's the
and
funniest part.
Brant, like, their banter, like,
Yeah.
they're good foils to each other. Which actually,
And Luther
Brant and
also.
Luther is a good foil. Like, all three of them are like,
Yeah.
really good.
Of Brant being like, Luther, I thought you were retired. Like,
Yeah, they're like on a three-way call, and it's good. It's good setup.
yeah, it's a good setup. All while this very stressful thing is happening to Ethan.
Yeah, and Ethan's like, I'm good. I jumped on a plane.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm crazy. Remember me?
Yeah.
I'm on the side of a plane right
and
now.
we're trying to
Please
stop
help me.
these
We're
explosions.
trying to stop these. Yeah, we're trying to stop these terrorists.
Yeah.
And so Benji opens the door. First, he opens the back door, like the loading bay door.
Wrong door, Benji.
You get the wrong door. Open the other door, the side door. And so Benji opens the side door, and I love Ethan getting like vacuum sucked in.
Yeah.
Pinball.
That is a nice touch. And he almost falls right back out because the back door is still open.
Yeah.
So Ethan straps himself to the giant thing of nerve gas.
Pulls the chute.
Just pulls the chute, and then that's when you get right into the open for the movie, like the opening credits, hard cut. Which again, they do the Mission Impossible thing, showing everything you're going to see in the movie.
Yeah, and since we talked about that when I was rewatching this, I was like, "Oh, you really?" Yeah. And then they teased the.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And so that leads into the actual movie, which we pick up with Ethan Hunt. He's in London, which I love this sequence of him in London. He goes into this record shop, and there's a series of control phrases that he has to say with the record shop owner of like, oh, let me guess, you're looking for something classical. He's like, no, something jazz. It's like, oh, it's like Coltrane. It's like, oh, this is like, oh, Shadow Wilson on bass. It's like Shadow Wilson on drums. Like,
Yeah, it's like the correcting like record store gossip kind of stuff. Yeah, it's
I
good.
love that. She's like, you're in luck. I have her first printing. She hands him this record.
Go to the
He goes
listening
to walk
booth.
off. She's like, it really is you, isn't it? And he like turns a little.
Does
He's
it
like,
say-
he's like, I've heard the stories. They can't all be true, right? And he. I love the McQuarrie explaining that bit
Yeah,
of like, so Ethan does this little turn, pauses for a second, and then just does this little like smirk, and then takes off. And Christopher McQuarrie has said that like they had a bunch of different takes for that, but there was just one take where Tom Cruise did the smile, and then they're like, you know what, that's it. Like that's
that
the
was
one.
it, yeah.
That's the one. Like that's the perfect response.
and the reason
You
it was
know?
a record store was because Tom Cruise is a music
Yeah.
like kind of a audiophile.
Yeah.
And like so
And
he's
wanted
like
to look like they said like I wanted to look like a record store that I would want to go into.
Yeah.
Like a record store that people would want to go into. So they like made like a legit set for that.
and it was a cool spy moment like
Yeah.
walk in there type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like it's a throwback to like Bond stuff and old British spy movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, it is.
Got like a sort of mod look to it.
Especially with it being in London.
As
That's
a-
the
yeah.
thing. Yeah. Now the nicest bit about this, so he's walking into his booth
Oh yeah, I love this.
to play the thing, and you see, just out of the corner of your eye, someone sitting in another booth. Paying
He's
attention to
actually
something.
there, yeah, because they talk about how like, which I was like paying attention to is this guy is sitting in there since Ethan walks in the door.
Like,
he's
since he
actually
walks-
in that.
he's already
he's
in the booth.
behind her or not,
Yeah, behind the record shop
record girl.
worker.
Listening to Chainsmokers too.
So Ethan goes into the record stall and he opens up the record player that's in there and he puts his hand down and it takes the biometric scan from him and he sits down and he's getting his mission he puts the record that the girl gave him on the player and he gets his mission. And so the recording comes up and says, like, listen, this is what you've been investigating the syndicate. We've discovered that all of these certain events, these terrorism events, are linked to the syndicate. This confirms that the syndicate does exist. And then it says something like, oh man, I have it. This would confirm IMF's suspicions that the syndicate does exist. The IMF would be right. And Ethan kind of like takes a second back, and the recording keeps going. And then the recording reveals that it was hacked, that it's actually the syndicate, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's a really nice touch for it to be like, the syndicate, like the IMF would be right about the syndicate's existence and linking all these events. However, this is not the IMF. This is the syndicate. And he starts freaking out.
Yep.
And then he like gets up and he sees our bad guy of the piece, Sean Harris, Solomon Lane, with a gun right behind the record girl's head. And he's just looking at him, just staring at Ethan.
Well, the message is it'll self-destruct.
Yeah,
but
the
instead it
message
starts
is-
to release like a nerve
Yeah,
gas
it's-
into the.
Yeah, so it releases this nerve gas, and Sean Harris shoots the girl, and Ethan's just banging on the window, and the nerve gas is just pumping in, and then he's knocked out. He's done. Awesome. So friggin' cool. So that's when we get a cut to Senate hearings that are happening with
Hunley and Brandt. Yeah.
with Brandt, Jeremy Renner's Brandt, and Alec Baldwin's new character, Director Hunley, who is head of the CIA.
Yeah, one of the lead
One
CIA.
of the leads of the CIA, and he's trying to get the IMF shut down. He says, like the IMF is old, outdated, it's all tricks and toys, it's all old school spycraft. That is not necessary for modern times.
Like they are just lucky.
I love that they bring that up.
Yeah.
That is so great that they bring that, and I really like that they bring that up in Fallout again too. Like I love that after Ghost Protocol, which entirely shows just how lucky they are. There's consequences for that. Of like, oh yeah, no, you guys don't like. You could plan all you want, but you guys are really just skating by. I don't know how this is working out. And so Hunley's like, no, listen, we got to shut them down. Like, let's just fold them into the CIA. Let's get this handled.
Well, and it's kind of like how Brandt was like our in Ghost Protocol are like eyes and ears into
Yes,
this.
exactly.
Alec Baldwin is like the other fan
Is
of
now the other, yeah.
who's like, oh well, that one like you can't just get away with that
Guys are
stuff.
crazy.
Yeah, like, these guys are insane.
Yeah,
We
like,
can't let them do this. Like,
Right.
yeah. It's really nice. He's the Secretary Ross in Civil War.
For the Soviet Accords.
You know, yeah.
The Sarkovian,
Soviet?
the Sarkovian, the SSR.
No, that would be in 2018 into the Soviet Accords.
Mission Impossible Iron Curtain.
They already blew up the Kremlin. Like, might as well.
Ethan Hunt takes off and asks Putin.
Dude, this court scene is literally just the same scene from Civil War. I'm just realizing that now, where he shows the footage of like, oh, this is right
where
after
they
they
got
went
it.
into the Kremlin, you know? This is the Kremlin 3 days before.
Love that.
And 24 hours after they get in.
Where do you think they got it for Civil War? They're like,
It's
that's a
literally
really
just that scene. I didn't even think about that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. The Russos are big Christopher McQuarrie fans.
No, it's just Alec
They
Baldwin
love
fans.
Way of the Gun.
Just Alec Baldwin fans.
Who isn't?
Jeremy Renner's like, what if we did the scene like this?
What if we just
I
did
did
this?
that in this other movie.
Yeah, it came out great. Like, we could just do that. They're like, oh, it's a good idea, Jeremy. We're not going to put you in the next one. So we catch up with Ethan. He's hanging in a cell somewhere from his arms. And this woman walks into the cell. Ilsa Faust, played wonderfully by Rebecca Ferguson. Ilsa Faust walks in, and she lays down some tools, and she takes off her shoes. No, that's earlier. That's later. That's later. Yeah, the shoes thing is right before they're about to scrap. That's right. So she walks in, and then this other guy walks in, who Ethan recognizes as Yannick Vinter, the Bone Doctor, which is awesome. I love his like thing of tools and like the saw and everything. Like he just looks like a crazy person. Also, he does the really nasty thing of sucking his finger before he pulls the ring off, which is gross. Like,
And you're like, man, I hope that guy dies.
and then pulls his ring, like his giant like dragon head ring, which is also gross. The guy's just gross. He's awful.
He listens to like a lot of Duha Smash and stuff, probably.
That guy is Rammstein's biggest fan. He
That's
is
who the Bone Collector is.
100%.
Their Bone Doctor, whatever his name is.
listening to Rammstein right
Yeah.
now. Like,
Bone Collector.
the Bone Collector.
Denzel Washington.
EQ2. Am I right? So Ilsa and Vinter are discussing, like what she's like, what are you doing? Like, he wants him alive. He wants Hunt alive. And Vinter's like, well, there must be some reason he wants him. I'm going to cut it out of him, because I'm a crazy person. Hey. And Ethan starts trying to defuse the situation. He recognizes Vinter. He's like, you're supposed to be dead. You supposedly died a few years ago. And Ilsa grabs the key off the table to unlock Ethan's handcuffs.
I love that the key has a rabbit foot.
Has a rabbit foot, which is a really nice touch. And she shows him the key really subtly. And he's got this look, and then that's when she takes off her shoes.
No, she
Right?
takes them off before. It's like when you first said it.
Because he says nice shoes right after he says.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's like, nice
He's like,
shoes,
I was
by the
talking to
way.
her.
Yeah.
After he
that's
calls
right.
him the Bone Collector or
That's
Venter
right.
or something.
Yeah.
The Bone Doctor.
Bone Doctor.
Bone Man.
Bone Man Jones, whatever his name is.
Rag and Bone.
Number one Rammstein fan.
Exactly. Number one. Oh, that's what guy you. The number one guy. This is the guy. This is the guy.
Yeah.
Where's Bogdan?
When's the Bogdan getting a spinoff?
When's the Bogdan Brandt duo movie? So Ilsa tosses him the key, and then they just start beating everybody up in the room. Ilsa and Ethan just start beating the crap out of everybody.
I love, like he can't even unlock himself because he can't get the lever. So he does that weird like upside down flick.
I think you mean sexy. It's pretty hot how he's doing that. He like curls up and then like keeps flicking himself up so that he's sliding off the pole.
Like you know how like some people
Ninja
like
warrior stuff.
Yeah.
It's like how you climb a tree with like just like a rope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like that scene in Mulan when she's trying to
When
climb
they get down to business.
Yeah,
You make a man out of her.
yeah. Oh my god.
Zach, you can't say that. You're gonna get us in trouble.
It's Disney.
And the Soviet Accords. I mean, Jesus.
Oh man, I just.
So they start fighting everybody in the room,
Yep.
and Ethan still doesn't know if he can trust this lady, even though he gave her the key. But they're running out, and then
They're running out.
she's like, all right, go down this hallway. And then as soon as Ethan gets in front of Isla's character, closes the door and says,
She's like,
I can't
"Listen, like,
leave.
I can't leave. You got to go.
And he's like, but what? Who are you? And
she takes off and
she's
then
like, "No."
tells Vinter and all of them like, oh, he went down that way.
so they
He
start.
closed the gate
Yeah.
on me. And he's still standing there like an idiot. And then they show up with guns. And you get that really great shot of him running down the hall as like they're shooting
Bullets.
the guns. And it's hitting off the
Yeah.
brick wall. It's a gorgeous shot.
Yeah, it's like the pinging.
oh,
yeah.
man. Beautiful cinematography in
And
this movie.
so that cuts to
So that cuts to
6 months later.
No, that cuts to Ethan calling Brant and saying like, "Go secure." Like,
that
Yeah.
happens
to which
first.
Brant like
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
the call like in the Senate building.
Yeah, he
which
calls
I
the
love
phone
that
booth.
he just does like the two swipes thing on his
Yeah.
phone and it makes his phone a secure call. That's awesome. Cool little tech thing. The little tech things in this are sweet.
Yeah, I wish I could do that so that Amazon wouldn't know what I want to order.
Right.
Yeah.
My favorite tech thing in this is like the phone key thing, whatever that.
I have that note, yes, which I love.
Yeah, I like that they use it more than once. Also,
Yeah, it's nice. So Ethan gets a call to Brant and says, "Listen, the syndicate is real. They're coming after me. Like, we got to shut this down." And Brant's like, "Look, we can't. This CIA committee thing, like, we just got shut down. We're done. Like, the IMF does not exist anymore." And so Ethan's like, "Okay, I get it. I'm gonna go rogue." And Brant's like, "All right, well."
Rogue Nation, baby.
And
This is what
then
he says. I'm going Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation.
And the credits play again.
he says, "Woo yeah!" Credits.
Yeah. Then he says, "Redheads, gotta love them." And then he jumps out of a plane. Suddenly asks Brant, like, "Where's Hunt? Before we go any further, where's Hunt? We need to bring him in."
Yeah, I don't know.
And Brant says, "I don't know. The last I heard, I think he was tracking the syndicate." Like, and so Hunley's like, "Listen, this is Ethan Hunt's last day as a free man." And then it cuts to 6 months later. And
Yeah.
Hunt is still on the run.
And it just furthers like Baldwin is like, nope, the CIA wants to shut down IMF and believes that like Ethan Hunt's like delusions of grandeur about the syndicate and that he's just
I have the quote.
Okay.
This is the first of Hunley quotes that I have.
yes.
I got to get into my my Alec Baldwin. Hunt is both arsonist and fireman at the same time. I believe that the syndicate is a figment of his imagination, created to justify the IMF's existence. I'm going to find him, Brant. And when I do, he's going to answer for every wanton act of mayhem he is responsible for. Welcome to the CIA.
Boom.
Boom, credits again.
And then so 6 months later,
So 6 months later, we see Ethan working out in the room. Shirtless with
Bearded.
a beard, literally with Solomon Lane's beard. Why does he have the beard? It doesn't make sense,
Same
but I
prop.
love it. Whatever.
Tom Cruise or Ethan Hunt do not grow a beard that big in 6 months. I know I'm no geneticist, but
Oh, thank God! I thought it was just me. Okay.
You've just been killing a bunch of rats and gluing their hair to his face. It's a disguise. That's what they used before the masks.
Ew, gross.
well, you want to know.
Uh,
That's what happens when you're
McQuarrie.
super
McQuarrie
disavowed.
talks about that
in the Empire spoiler special, you're right.
Real rats.
But listen, if you guys are listening to this and you like this, I don't want to plug another podcast, but it's a great
Plug your ears into something else.
2.5 hours of conversation between Christopher McQuarrie and one of the reporters at Empire Magazine. It's literally from 2015. It's from when the movie came out on Blu-ray. But it is a great look. It's the best director's cut you're going to get for this movie.
Yeah, so watch the movie,
So
listen
watch
to
the
this
movie,
podcast.
listen to this podcast, and then listen to that.
Yeah, and you'll get the full
experience.
Then watch the movie again.
Full
with the
Rogue
podcast
Nation.
And watch the
playing.
movie again.
Both podcasts playing.
Both podcasts playing at the same time, but playing
And,
backwards.
and Duhas. Like,
On a repeat.
all out of your Bose sound system. Bose. Looking for that
I
sponsorship.
got a Bose. I love it. So
Looking for that sponsorship.
So Ethan is working out. Same time, Hunley is running an op to bust on Ethan, and the military guys bust in the door, and Ethan. I was trying to move past it, and Ethan is not there. I love that he just has a cell phone in the corner
With really good audio.
with really good audio quality that they can hear him down the hall.
Yeah, that must be like a Bose,
Bose.
phone.
it's a home sound system.
Bose.
Okay. This movie has the most product placement in all the Mission Impossible movies.
Yes, it does.
It's a Nokia phone.
Nokia
and then
phone.
the next scene has Benji on
On
a
Halo
Dell.
5.
Yeah, he's on a Dell playing Halo 5.
Yep.
And then there's some more in there. I can't
There's
remember.
I
Were
don't
those
remember all of
the
them.
sunglasses when the car flips upside down? Are those like a brand? Because there's a good shot.
They
of
do make a good shot of those
of
sunglasses.
I don't know if it's just like accidental, but it's like they're not broken at all. And they're
Yeah.
just sitting there right next to his head, and I was rewatching. I was like, is he gonna put those on at some point? Like I was like, it feels like
You know what they probably are.
it's the gun on the wall that they don't
Yes,
use.
exactly. You know what those glasses probably are? Oakley sunglasses.
We want Ray-Ban.
Warby Park.
Ray-Ban sunglasses.
I think he's anti Ray-Ban. Ray-Ban makes the red cameras, which are not film.
Oh,
he is
that's
anti-digital.
true. And he's anti-digital. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Tom Cruise is Chris
So-
Nolan. Mystery Solved. Serial Season 3.
Figured it out.
This podcast is actually Serial Season 3.
Yeah.
It
It's
tricked you.
serializing how we go crazy. So we cut to Benji, who's playing Halo 5 in the CIA headquarters, in the computer room.
Yeah, he's like back to being a clerk.
Yeah, exactly. He's back on desk duty, and he's playing Halo 5. And then someone comes to get him for his weekly lie detector test to see if he knows where Hunt is, which is a real drag.
Yeah.
I feel real bad for Benji there.
And like I think the important part of that like lie detector thing is, so first he gets mail at his desk and they're opera tickets. He ignores it, goes to take his test, and the most important thing is like seeing how much like he really does like have to trick the lie detector to be like, we're not friends anymore. And
Yeah,
we
like
see
you
like
keep thinking that I have some obligation to him.
Yeah.
That's a hard scene to watch. That's kind of a bummer.
it's a really good delivery too.
It's good delivery.
Yeah.
And I love how that comes back up later too. It's really nice. So he does the lie detector thing. He's stressed about it. He goes back to his desk. He looks at his opera tickets that he won. He's like, you know what? I'm going to Vienna. To the opera.
He's gonna like treat yourself.
Treat yourself. I'm going to Vienna. So he goes to Vienna. We see him get off a train. He looks real flossy in like a suit. He's looking good. And then some bro just like hands him a package in passing. And he opens up the package. And there's some glasses in there. He puts on the glasses. And Ethan's in his ear. And he's like, Ethan, my man. Had to throw that in there. Ethan, where you been, man? He's like, listen, I need your help with this thing. Like, come help me. He's like, okay, I got your back, dog. They're going to the opera. Because if you want drama, go to an opera. Which I love that line. It's a real nice line. So that's where we get the key hack thing for the first time.
Yeah.
Which is nice at the opera, where it's just like I don't know, it looks like a little like kind of like a blocky USB
Yeah.
sort of, but like you put it up against.
Reminds me like a pager, sort of.
Yeah, it is literally the size of a pager.
Yeah.
If you put it up against like a keyhole and like I don't know, it like scans the keyhole or something, and then like shoots out like prongs to fit
Like
the
pins
key
or something?
Yeah, to like fit, and you see it kind of like on the side of the holder, you know, like that it's like analyzing it and like mapping it, sort of, and then it uses it, and then you use it as a key.
Technology.
That's amazing.
Science.
That is great tech. So that is science. So they're there. What Benji is doing is he is using. Oh, the book thing is really cool too.
Yeah.
The like fake program that's really a computer screen. That's neat.
And it's like cause it has like that OLED bendable screen that is
Yeah.
actually real now,
Which is real now, but like 2015, that was
Yeah.
You know, super cool. So Benji is going through all the faces in the crowd because Ethan knows that Solomon Lane is there. He doesn't know that Solomon Lane's name. He just knows the face, and he's like, "Oh yeah." Again, Ethan's a really good artist. I swear, if he
They
just got a
set
job
up-
at Marvel,
they set up.
like Ingo's Protocol.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of crude, but you know, maybe you should take some art classes at the Kubert School. And,
then
so Ethan took art classes at the Kubert School.
teaches.
And,
What do you think he did for the 6 months?
exactly, you know,
Push-ups and art school.
art school. You know, he was in Vienna. Avi.
What else are you gonna do?
What else are you gonna do? Go to the opera. So going off the picture that Ethan has of Solomon Lane, Benji's gonna swipe through and see everyone in the audience, you know, and see if they could find the guy that they're looking for. While doing that, we come back to Ilsa in that beautiful, beautiful dress.
Yellow dress.
She looks amazing. She is rocking it. She's there. We also get another couple of assassins. Like, there's a few assassins at the opera, which, first off, the opera is Tornado, which that's a great choice. It's beautiful sounding. So I love that all of the assassins have to assemble their weapons. So, like, the first guy, like, he has his in, like, a musical instrument, and he has to, like, assemble it together, you know, in, like, a... Cause,
In the
you know,
words
you
of
go through-
Anchorman, it's a Yaz flute.
It's a yes.
Yaz
It
flute
is,
sniper.
It is a Yaz flute. Yaz flute sniper. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Clint Eastwood sequel.
Sequel to
So he has to put his together like that. Ilsa has hers, and she puts it together. And there's like another guy in a control room that he's dressed like a cop, and he puts his together from like the pieces on his belt. Yeah, like the baton. Like, I love that everyone has to assemble their
and then wears
weapons.
sunglasses.
And then
Which
wears
I'm assuming they're like
sunglasses.
some sort of tech.
They help him
it's-
aim.
It helps him
Yeah.
aim.
Oh, okay. There.
Yeah.
Without giving like a laser,
It's like
I guess.
Fast and Furious 7.
Oh yeah. Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody, who plugs him into his guns to help
Mr.
him.
Nobody runs the syndicate.
That's we'll get to that. So I love that, and so Ethan catches notice of Ilsa. He's like, wait, that's weird. I thought that was. And then Benji sees the assassin with the musical instrument gun, with the Yaz flute gun, and it looks like he's about to take out the Chancellor. Like, there's this Chancellor who's there, and it looks like that guy's about to be assassinated. He's like, whoa, okay. So Ethan goes after that guy, and you get the rafters fight up above the opera, which is beautifully choreographed. I think that fight is one of the best fights I've ever seen in the movie.
I love how all the music in this is from the actual scenery because it's like the actual
Yes.
opera music.
Yes, and they keep using it too. Like,
Yeah.
that's a part of like Ilsa Faust's suite. Like, is hearing the Tornado like music, which is
Yeah.
awesome. That fight scene is incredible, and I love the reveal of the guy being
Like
tall,
a foot and a half tall.
like him slowly going up. That's what I love about Christopher McQuarrie. Christopher McQuarrie is not afraid to show that Tom Cruise is small. He's like the first director that Tom Cruise actually lets him show that he's a small guy.
Because Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, like,
You can
that's
tell
amazing.
right away.
Oh yeah, like I love that he trusts McQuarrie to be like, okay, like, listen, I'm gonna be small, but like make me badass, you know?
Yeah.
So they make him badass.
Or
Like,
sorry,
it's
you
a
might
big
also
thing
know
in
it as
Jack Reacher also.
Live, Die, Repeat, or All You Need Is Kill. Whichever title you want.
Yeah. All You Need Is Kill is such a great title. I like the so Ethan gets close quarters with the assassin, and then he notices that the assassin has a contact lens. I like that they keep using the contact lens thing.
Yeah.
And who's watching from the contact lens is Solomon Lane. And he's sitting there freaking out.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say Solomon Grundy. Like, it's just in my head.
Well, he was born on a Monday. This movie does take place on a Monday.
On a Monday.
On a Monday. That's true.
Grundy.
That's the clunkiest thing about that rhyme.
Yeah.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday?
On a Monday.
Monday.
This is like,
Ethan, I guess he kills that assassin. Like, we see him, like, kick him off the rafters.
And
Yeah.
he falls
And the guy drops.
impaled.
We don't know where he goes.
No, he got impaled.
Yeah, there are like spikes beneath him. It just doesn't show the.
Because there's like
Oh,
impaling.
right.
in
It just shows
the
impact.
as part of the theater set design, there's like
That's right. I forgot. Yeah, so he gets impaled on that thing, which is cool.
dead
And so
AF.
Ethan is left with that guy's gun, and he sees that Elsa is about to shoot the Chancellor, which I love her whole like. Just her whole style in the whole movie's cool. Like the kicking up the leg and like bouncing off the leg, like it's super cool. And he sees that Elsa's about to shoot the Chancellor, so he's trying to figure out what to do.
What do?
Well, and
What?
same with the security guard, who's also
It's him with the security guard, yes, which Benji goes to take care of.
Benji Dunn is a bad field agent. Let me say that.
Benji does a pretty okay field agent.
He loses
trying.
like every fight.
he got like 6 months in the field and then 6 months off. I
He
mean,
he killed the bad guy in Ghost Protocol. He killed one of the main bad guys in Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, while he was distracted, killing Brand.
Yeah, but he still killed him. Whatever. So Ethan decides, okay, I got to take the Chancellor out of play. So Ethan decides, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. He shoots the Chancellor in the arm, so the Chancellor ducks, and then Elsa shoots and totally misses the Chancellor, which is nice. That's a pretty smart move.
Yeah, okay, because I wanted to hit pause. If you're watching the movie right now, hit pause.
hit
because
pause.
how great is that like Ethan's like, crap, there's two people aimed at him.
Yep.
How do I like
How do I get both of them to miss? And not
and
kill
he
him?
doesn't want to shoot Isla at all because
No.
he's like, I don't know who she is yet.
Cute.
Yeah, and she might be good. So then he was like, "Oh, if I clip the Chancellor, that will like save everybody."
That'll save everybody. Like
Yeah.
he'll be fine. It's just a flesh wound.
Because it's also a
Yeah.
good like, I'm gonna give you three options, which is a
Exactly. Yes, which calls back to the end.
yeah.
Ah, nice. So they rush the Chancellor out. Then authorities storm the opera, stop the opera, right at the most beautiful part. And then Ilsa and Ethan team up to get out of there. Oh, first, Ilsa kills the assassin who's about to kill Benji, which is nice. And then they all take off. And so Ilsa and Ethan team up to get out of there. That's when you get the shoes, please. Shoes. Like,
Yeah. She's
love
like, I'm
that
not
they
running
keep
in
coming
heels. This
back
is
to
in
that.
Jurassic World.
Yeah. A great bit of that podcast. So then they escape and they see the Chancellor's car take off. And the Chancellor's car blows up. Whoa. We get to Benji picks them both up, picks up Ethan and Ilsa, and they're being followed by Solomon Lane's guys. And Ilsa's like, listen, you need to throw me out of here. This has to look like an escape.
Yeah. So we kind of get some more story about like, oh, she's like maybe not really working for them. And then Ethan's like, oh, like you are probably a good guy. I still don't really know who
I'm
you
guessing
are.
you're British intelligence. And she's like, yes, I'm Elsa Faust. I'm British intelligence. I'm trying to take down the Syndicate. You're trying to take down the Syndicate. Let's figure this out together, but I need to get out of here. Here's my tube of lipstick. You have everything you need to find me. And she just dips. And on that tube of lipstick is a little flash drive. Ethan and Benji figure out, hey, it's not just a great color. We can use this flash drive. Well, I guess the flash drive is telling us to go to Morocco. So they go to Morocco. She meets back up with Solomon Lane. Solomon Lane is not happy that Ethan Hunt escaped. She does the really cool thing of like when she walks into the office of Solomon Lane, he's at the table and this guy is like walking her in, and then the guy like pushes her a little bit, and she just straight up like almost murder balls that.
Oh yeah,
dude.
she goes like shoop a doop and just like has his gun.
She like hops up on top of him, like twists, knocks him down, and then when she comes up, she's got his gun.
And even he's like, "Fuck,
Yeah,
how'd you get my gun?"
I love it.
That like
man.
little look is like,
just like,
He's like,
how does she do that? That's not possible.
dang, that's my mission.
Threat level midnight. Threat level what? Michael Scarn. So that's I also have a note in here. That's when we get introduced to the idea of the Special Activities Division. I just like that the CIA has a Special Activities Division because that means they're sad.
Yeah, it's like when they're like involved with, cake parties and National Hot Dog Day, stuff like that.
Yep.
Special activities of it.
Water
yeah.
parks. Yeah, exactly. Special activities.
Volleyball league.
Yeah, the outdoor stuff.
CIA's volleyball league.
Hikes,
Yeah.
Nice little hikes.
Reserving park space for anniversaries.
Absolutely.
Back at the CIA, Brant's with Luther.
Yep. So we got Brant and Luther. Brant's like, listen, we need to find Ethan. We need to find Benji. Like, Benji and Ethan are now working together. Hunley's freaking out. We got to find him before Hunley does because Hunley will kill them on sight.
Oh, wait. Okay, I guess we skipped over one thing. Because Simon and Ethan meet in Ethan's secret lair that he's had. His sub-basement.
Yep. With the
And-
broken down tech.
Yeah.
Once again, which is nice. He's got to like prop open the door with like a steak knife, and he's got to like use 2 steak knives to like kickstart the thing.
And he's just basically like, hey, thanks for helping me out. But like,
Yeah, like, hey,
Benji, you got to go back. You
gotta
got
go
to
back.
like
Like,
lie.
tell them
it's
that- yeah.
fine. Because like, I love you. I don't want you to lose your job. You
I
know.
brought you into this. It went bad. Real
Yeah.
fast.
And then that's when we see Benji's like, no, we're
Like,
brothers.
No matter, no matter what,
family.
no matter what I tell them in my lie detector test every week, we are friends.
Yeah.
So I'm helping you out. And that's the end of that.
Yeah.
It's
There's
just
just like this really sweet like
Okay.
now kiss moment.
yeah.
And,
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the whole time it's like kiss,
yeah.
kiss.
Cuts to the window and the foggy.
So then they decide they're sticking together. Foggy
Yep.
hand on the glass.
Foggy hands on
cuts
the glass
to
together.
Brant.
That's when we get Brant and Luther.
Like, what have they been up to?
Yeah, so they're going to try and figure out where Ethan and Benji are. And they start with tracking Ilsa. And
He gives him the 2 pictures and like, how fast can you? I'm done.
he's like, I'm done. He's like, seriously? Like,
He's like, I could have done this from home.
yeah, exactly. Like, for anyone else, it'd be difficult, but for me, I could have done it from home, man. Like, Luther's pretty cool in this one.
Yeah.
I like that they've continually started to make Luther a little cooler.
Yeah.
Not to explain why his acting isn't great.
You got it out for Ving Rhames.
Exactly. So we go to Morocco.
Casablanca.
Ethan and Benji meet Ilsa in a house in Morocco. I love the little like note on the door with the lipstick kiss. That's cute.
Because like lipstick is what they had, and
Because he wants to kiss Ilsa really badly.
but also because like he gave her the lipstick, and then it's like, oh, that's what. So this is the right place.
Oh yeah, that too.
Wearing the lipstick.
Yeah. And also they do.
It's all over Benji's neck.
So they walk in and she's coming out of the pool.
She's coming out of the pool,
But she takes
she's
off
got
the
the
glove.
oxygen sleeve.
I love
thing.
this.
Yeah,
That is my favorite bit of tech in this
It's a
movie.
really good subtle hint at that for later. Also, like they do a lot of good setups, except for those sunglasses that they never get back to. Do they get back to them in Fallout? Spoilers, so you can spoil
I
it.
can't
Do they?
tell you.
They don't. Ray-Ban.
Dude.
I can't
Stinger.
tell
Ray-Ban.
you.
Stinger. Cut back to that flipped over car in
I'm
Casablanca.
I'm not saying that the sunglasses are the bad guy of Fallout, but if I was saying that, I would not be crazy. I'm not going to say that the sunglasses grew up.
Benji, Ethan, and
Benji and Ethan
they're at this like
and Ilsa are
beautiful
talking.
home.
And they figure out, like, okay, so what is on the drive is what they need to get is a lockbox thing, basically. Like it's a ledger that is in this super secure place in a skiff. They need to get this ledger. The ledger has the names of everyone who's in the syndicate. It's super convenient. Solomon Land has dirt on everybody because the syndicate just uses dead agents or supposedly dead agents. And so this is going to, yes, clean slate protocol. Benji is going to have to go into this bank. Now, the secure holding has a special technology that it has a few different like key things in order for you to get in, but then it also has these cameras that track your movements. Yeah, it's the gate. It'll track your movements so that it knows how you walk. Like, as a person who has an account there, it knows how you walk. So it'll know if you're being impersonated. If you're being impersonated, you're done. So masks don't work. None of that works. So the only way to get past it is to put in a new program for it. Now, where they keep all the programs is in this underwater, like submerged hard drive thing, where there's like little key cards. You gotta like
it's
swap
like
out the key cards.
what's it called? Like when it's not connected to the internet. It's like a
So the thing is called a Taurus. That's what it's called. And so Ethan has to go into the Taurus. He would have to switch out the key cards right before Benji walks through.
Yeah.
So that it'll recognize that Benji's walking, and then he's good to go.
Yeah. They do a good nod in this, like during this whole thing. They do a couple of things I like. They like the nod and homage to like heist movies and heist stuff, where it's like they talk about the plan, and then
We're seeing
the plan play out.
I love
And they're
it.
like, but this happens.
And Benji wants to wear a mask, so we get to see. We get
I
to
get
see
to wear a mask.
yeah, we get to see like Benji put on a mask, and then all for them to say like, no, that won't work because the gate will recognize your motion. So we have to basically put you into the system, which made me think about when I was watching this. Made me think like, I mean, I'm sure they have enough camera footage where they can just analyze it and know your motion. But like early days of the technology, would people have to sign up for an account and then like, okay, now we're gonna need you to put on this mocap suit so we can like download you. Like just the sign up is a very rigorous process.
Yeah, exactly. It's
It's like
but
3 days in a mocap suit.
Trust me, it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah. Keep your USB drive here. Could you imagine like if you stub your toe that morning or something?
Oh
It's,
god!
like,
and then
slightly
you just have a
messed
limp.
up.
Exactly.
You have to train yourself to
Nope,
have.
you're gonna have to come back.
You're breaking in.
But also, this part is cool just because once again, calling to the interview with Chris McQuagmire.
McDonald's.
Great guy. I hope you, if you want to come on the show.
Oh my god, please.
But he talks about how it is based off a real skiff.
Yes.
Skiff. That is a real thing where high-level intelligence agencies actually do hide their information. And there's all these codes that you have to memorize because if you do it too fast, it recognizes, or too smooth, it recognizes that it's a machine trying to hack.
Yep.
And too slow, it knows you're trying to like remember or like read something.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool.
So it's like a little bit sensationalized,
Yeah.
but it is based off of a real life thing
which is cool. Yeah.
from 2015, which means that by now this is actually like fully a thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just a thing. So also forgot to talk. The window shattering thing is really awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That is super cool. They just put it on there and it just vibrates it at such a high frequency that it just completely just shatters it into pieces.
Yeah.
Really minuscule pieces. Yeah. So it comes down like rain. It's super cool. I forgot about that. So they figure out the plan. Ethan has to. Ethan's going to be completely submerged in this, so he has to fall down this like access chute, and he has to be able to hold his breath for. Yeah, there's a metal detector, so you're gonna have to hold your breath because you can't take in a metal tank of oxygen. So he has to hold his breath for 3 minutes.
I love
at least.
when they're talking about it. Benji's like, yeah, he can do
Exactly.
that.
Oh, it's Ethan Hunt. Like he can totally do that.
And
I love
Ethan's just
that
like,
Benji's like the
"That's
biggest
nice."
Ethan Hunt fan.
Yeah.
Like he's such a fan. He's like, oh, my boy Ethan's got this. Like,
So I read it as like not only does he got it, but like but Benji is so excited to be in a mission that he's like, no, he's got this because I want to do my part. Like I want to be,
Exactly. Like,
I want to
wanna
do my
get the
cool
mask
spy
and everything.
stuff.
Also, by the way, if you don't do this, I'm totally gonna die. But like, I know you got this, so I believe in you. So like, this is gonna be fine.
Yeah, because then I get to do cool spy stuff.
Then I get to do cool spy stuff while you have to do all the grunt work. Finally,
He's like the person that's telling the stories about Ethan that the girl at the place has heard the stories.
oh, he totally is. He totally is.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the time that me and Ethan? So they go through the whole thing. Ethan goes underwater. Ethan's in the Taurus, and he gets knocked around by like the machine arms in the Taurus. He loses the key cards. He has to pick which, like he gets them, and he gets up to the access gate thing that he has to get to, and he has to pick which key card to put in, and one just falls out of his hand. So he's like, you know what? He's hoping this is the right one. Again, luck. He puts it in. He's already past his 3 minutes of oxygen at this point. He is because he's exerted a lot of
They
oxygen.
do a really
and
cool
getting
thing with
knocked
like
out.
sound in this scene too, where he's like, you can hear the
Gulping.
gulping.
You hear
Because it gives you that like, oh god, he really is.
Yeah, it
like,
makes me so
drowning.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he
very
is like
real.
on the access door to get out, and he can't pull it. He's using all of his strength, and then he loses his breath, and he's done. And then that's when the camera shifts from being in front of his face to being like his point of view as his hands release from the thing, and he's just falling. And you feel Ethan Hunt die, and it's weird. Like, it's super weird. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's like grabbed onto, and someone's cradling him, and you don't know who it is. And he's going out, and then they get to the access thing, and they get shot out of there, and it's all fine. And Benji goes through the gate, and he's good. He gets the stuff, gets out, and we find out that Ilsa actually saved Ethan. Like, she saved him. She's trying to perform CPR on him. He's dead, and so she gets a defibrillator, shocks him back to life. That's when
Second time
back to life. He is good to go. Sort of. Benji comes in and is like, oh my God, like, I can't believe, like, he died. You saved him. Like, hey. And he's talking to Ilse. He's like, hey, I misjudged you. Thank you. And, like, he hands her some clothes. She goes and puts on the coat, you know, because she's, you know, stripped down to not much. So
And
she
then
could jump in
Benji's
the
like
water.
talking to Ethan, like,
Benji's
I
talking
love
to Ethan,
you,
like,
I miss
hey,
you.
man, like, listen, like, hey, you're fine. And I love punch drunk Ethan Hunt. It's like, Benji?
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Like, he's like, I got the thing. Like, I got the drive, man. We're good to go. And then, boom, Benji gets hit with something. He falls down. Ilsa tased him with the defibrillator. And so she takes the drive out of his hand and runs off.
Yeah.
She runs upstairs, like, and she gets met by some syndicate dudes who are like, where's Hunt? And she's like, he's not a problem. He's done. He's not a problem. And they give her a motorcycle suit, and she gets on a motorcycle suit, and she gets on a motorcycle, and then does the cool swipe
Bam.
thing
Bam.
where she knocks all their front tires out with her motorcycle.
And everyone's like, dick move, but also fucking cool.
But like, listen, bro, that was not cool, but I respect it, bro. Like, it's an awesome moment. And then she takes off with the drive. And so they go after her. The bad guys go after her. That's when Ethan snaps too. Like,
we gotta go.
We gotta go. He's like, Benji, let's go. We gotta go. And he's kind of super punch drunk. Like, he tries to, like, slide across the top of the car and just biffs it.
And then it's kind of like, it does the, like, embarrassed dog tuck tail.
Like, are you okay to drive?
Yeah,
What are you
like-
talking about?
Like, you were just
dead.
Like, Benji, what are you talking about? Like,
It's really good.
like this is a good light comedy. This is good movie fun.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just like, oh, this is a good time, you know? Like, hey, whatever. At the same time, Brant and Luther have shown up in Casablanca. They're tracking Ethan, trying to figure out where he is. The giant car chase happens where Ethan and Benji are in a car.
Chasing all the
after
motorcycles.
Ilsa and the motorcycles. The motorcycles are trying to kill them.
Brant and Luther are just like taking a nice stroll through
Yeah, they're just taking a stroll
Casablanca.
through Casablanca. It's very cute.
Yeah.
You know, Ethan and Benji. Ethan does the really cool thing of like swiping the car around so that he like knocks out the other motorcycles that are like on both sides of them,
The old shoot.
and then drives like backwards. Is that at that
Reverse.
point? No, that's later. That's after they see Brant and because they like come out of an alley and pull up right next to Brant and Luther.
Yeah.
Again, luck. And so they pull up right next to them. And like Brant and Luther just looking out the window and notice that it's Ethan.
Both just give like the slight nod.
And they just give him the nod. And then Ethan just takes off. And Brant's just like, well, we found them. He pulls the Range Rover around.
4x4.
And so the whole chase scene's happening. Everyone's chasing after Ilsa, who has the
There's like
drive.
a Mario Kart shortcut through stairs.
Mario Kart shortcuts through
Benji's
stairs.
like, stairs.
Stairs. And then you see all the motorcycles going down the stairs, and they're just taking it vroom, 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 vroom. So Ethan takes out all the motorcycles and is driving backwards, and then drives backwards off like the top of stairs. That's when you get the slow dive, and then the insanely ridiculous car flip.
Yeah.
Which is almost comedic how weird that car flip is. Like,
Yeah,
that is
it's-
out of a comedy.
It's also some odd looking CG.
Really odd looking.
Yeah, it's the worst stunt. Like that
That
moment
is the worst bit in the movie.
Yeah, but it goes into my one of my favorite stunts actually.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome because you could tell that they're kind of still like in some form of the car.
Yeah.
That is like moving and like going at crazy speed and stuff because they're having a bad reaction, they're having a bad time. So the car like crashes and lands upside down, and that's when they're in the car and a motorcycle just pulls up right next to them, and this guy gets off. And it's funny because the guy has weird like knee pad things that are off to the side, and I was like, "What is that?"
Which they show you later.
And then
why.
they show why like 4 minutes later, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, but the guy's slowly walking up and he pulls out a gun and he's about to cap Benji in the face, and then a car just smacks into him and he's thrown forward. Luck again. And Luther and Brent get out and they pull out Ethan and they pull out Benji.
And they just
Benji's,
leave
like,
those
knocked
beautiful
out.
Ray-Ban glasses
Yeah.
unscratched
Unscratched.
because they're tough, durable, and they're UV protected.
Now they have a grudge.
Yeah.
And then, so Ethan takes off, hops on the motorcycle guy's motorcycle, and goes after Ilsa, who's still being chased by two guys. So there's a crazy fast motorcycle chase there. Those two guys get
Tom
taken
Cruise
out.
on a motorcycle is always a good film.
Badass.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It goes from a bad car tumble like CGI moment to like Tom Cruise on a motorcycle looking badass.
Yeah.
Like
I love the McQuarrie interview where he's like, if he has to wear a helmet, he doesn't want to do the stunt.
yeah. The squirrel suit, like yeah. I just like, to me, like that was like, there's the big stunt at the beginning they talk about, but I liked the motorcycle stunt more. And also with his hair moving, I was like, oh, it's like he looks fucking great.
He looks great.
Yeah, and then you see the knee pads are actually so that you can like get so low to whip
Yeah, so
around.
you can hug the turns, which is a nice touch.
Because it's real. Yeah.
Because that's super real. So you know, Ethan takes out the two motorcycle guys and then is right behind Ilsa. And then Ilsa does the cool thing of like taking off ahead of him. He's going around these curves, and then he goes around the curve and sees that she parked and she's just standing in the middle of the road. And so he washes out because he doesn't want to hit her. And then she just gets back on the motorcycle and rides off, which is awesome. And he's lost her.
Yep.
And so Ethan meets up with Luther and Brant and Benji, and they sit down in like this little, I guess it's like a pub kind of in Casablanca, you know, like it's just like a little bar. And they're like, what are we going to do? And Ethan's like, Benji, please tell me you got a copy of the disc. He's like, of course I got a copy of the disc. He's like, well, all right. Ilsa takes the drive to her handler. Why am I blanking on this?
Starts with an A, right?
What?
Starts with an A. Right?
Yeah, Atlee. Thank you, Atlee. Yeah, British intelligence man, secret agent man, if you will. Takes it to her handler, Atlee, and says, "Listen, like I want out. Like I got you what you needed. I need out." And Atlee's like, "No, you're out when we say you're out. You have to go back. Yeah. You have to kill Hunt in order to win your trust with Lane. You have to go back in. Like we need you for more stuff." Don't forget, like, we burned you. We said that you are, like, a rogue agent. We burned you. So you have no... USA.
USA.
Characters welcome. That's it. Characters welcome. Got him. All right. We got there, guys. Cut the check. So she leaves in a huff, and then she brings the drive to Lane. Lane is doing stuff with the drive and talks with Ilsa. Is like, listen, you let Ethan Hunt live twice. I'm trying to look past this, but you're messing up. All right. And then Vinter tells Lane, like, hey, the drive's empty. And he's about to, I love that, where he's like about to hit her and just like stops right in front of her face.
Puts his hand on her face.
And he's just like, yeah, puts his hand on her face. Like, I would hate for you to see what's to come next. Like, he is clearly a man who's constantly on edge and about to explode.
What do you say? Like, I'm looking forward to see.
Oh, how you react to what comes next. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah. So at the same time, the IMF are trying to figure out what's on the drive, and they find out that it's a red box, which is a specific thing that only the PM can open, the Prime Minister. It has something on it that they need and that Lane needs, clearly, or else he wouldn't have had it stolen. So he's like, okay, well, that means that Lane's going to try and kidnap the prime minister. We're gonna have to stop him.
Yeah. They're like, we have to do it first,
We
basically.
have to take the prime minister first. To which Brant's like, whoa, wait a second. I thought you just said we have to take the prime minister. I thought you just said we have to take the prime minister. And Brant's really not for this. Ethan's like, no, listen, Brant, this is the only way. I can't see another way. This is it. Don't you see? Don't you see? And he has this really manic look in his eye. And you kind of wonder, like, maybe Ethan's not doing okay. You know? And so Brant, Ethan and the guys make a plan, but then Brant takes off and calls Hunley.
You can go your own way.
He goes his own way. And he calls Hunley and says, listen, Ethan might be off the deep end. He's going to try and steal the prime minister.
Of Malaysia, Q Zoolander.
The Prime Minister of Malaysia! Every time I hear Prime Minister, that's exactly what I
Yeah,
think
okay.
of.
Good. Me too.
I'd kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia!
Yeah.
Hunley's like, okay, we got to go to London. Ethan's going to steal the Prime Minister. We got to stop him. This is an event that it's a silent auction thing that the Prime Minister's going to. That's where he's going to take him. And so they get their stuff together. That's so Hunley meets with Atlee at this auction, which is nice. Meets with Atlee and says, okay, listen, we need to get to the prime minister. The prime minister comes in the room. They're all in a separate room. And Brant's there, and he says, listen, Hunley says, listen, this is Brant. He's one of Ethan Hunt's men. He came forward. Ethan Hunt is going to try to steal you, Mr. Prime Minister. Ethan Hunt is a crazy person. You know, he's going to try and steal you. And Brant mentioned something about the syndicate. And then the Prime Minister says, the syndicate? Atlee, this wouldn't be the syndicate that I told you not to do anything about, right?
That syndicate.
It isn't that syndicate, right? And Atlee's playing it off weirdly. And Hunley's like, what do you mean? And the Prime Minister explains that the syndicate was an idea from Chief Atlee and Solomon Lane, former British Secret Service, you know, or former British MI6, to create a secret organization that is funded by all nations to do completely like clandestine things.
Like impossible missions and stuff.
Yeah.
Anti-IMF.
Yeah, the anti-IMF. The anti-God. He always gets anti-words. But it was a completely hypothetical thing. The Prime Minister told Atlee to shut it down. Atlee promised that it didn't go past a planning phase. But apparently that's not the case. And so they're all kind of freaking out. The Prime Minister's not happy. The Prime Minister says, well, we need to get out of here. And Hunley's like, no, listen. We need to keep you here. We need to keep you safe. This is my last Alec Baldwin line.
Yeah.
It's the best line in the movie. It's the best speech in the movie. Hunt is uniquely trained and highly motivated. A specialist without equal, immune to any countermeasures. There's no secret he cannot extract. No security he cannot breach. No person he cannot become. He has most likely anticipated this very conversation and is waiting to strike in whatever direction we move. Sir, Hunt is the living manifestation of destiny, and he's made you his mission.
Credits. No.
It's a great line.
And then we finally get the opening credits.
And then, then I finally find out the title of the movie,
Yeah.
Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation.
So
Ethan Hunt is the Rogue Nation.
Ethan Hunt is the Rogue Nation. So
I hope there's no fallout from this.
So Baldwin drops that great line, and then all of a sudden the Prime Minister gets shot with a tranq dart from Atlee. And you're like, oh man, Atlee's lost it. He's going crazy. And then Atlee pulls off his mask and it's Ethan Hunt. And Baldwin just does the best delivery of
Hunt.
Hunt. Like, you heard me say all those nice things about you?
After he does it, I expect him to do like that thing he does in 30 Rock where he like covers his mouth.
Lemon. So this was all a part of the plan to find out what the Syndicate actually is. They use the tranked Prime Minister to open the lockbox. Luther has the lockbox.
It's like
Hacking into.
not just a trank. It seems like a truth serum.
It's like a
as
truth
well.
serum kind of thing, yeah. Or at least it makes you susceptible.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because when they walk into the room, Atlee tells the guards at the door, like, under no circumstances is anyone allowed in. The real Atlee shows up, and the guards are like, "Oh, we were told not to let anyone in." And he's like, "By who?" He's like, "By you." And so they all rush in. Ethan and Brant take down the guards and then shoot Atlee. And Atlee, under, you know, the ability of suggestion, tells them, like, yeah, you guys are right. Like, that's exactly what the Syndicate is. Like, we still funded it. We made it happen. I was trying to shut down Solomon Lane. You know, Ilsa Faust is one of mine, all that jazz. He comes clean. They open up the lockbox, the red box. They get out of there. They stage it so that Hunley looks like a hero. They make it look like Atlee shot the Prime Minister and took down the guards, and Hunley saved the Prime Minister, which is great when they're telling them that. And the
like,
Prime Minister's like, "Did you? I'm very grateful." And so they take off to do their more important missions, you know, to stop the Syndicate, stop Lane, find out what's on the red box. And then that's when you find out that Benji's been taken. Right? Is that when Benji's been taken? I totally skipped the meeting scene. The meeting scene. That's what we were missing. Because they have to steal the thing. Because Benji got taken when they tried to intercept Ilsa in what is it, like a train station or something?
Yeah.
Like they tried to intercept her, and that's when Ethan and her sit down, and she's like, "Listen, there's only 3 options. Like, you go after Lane, you don't go after Lane, he comes after you." She's like, "What's the third option?" Like, "You run away with me. We get out of here. Like, we take off." Clean slate program. Because she is 100% his Catwoman.
Yeah.
Which I love. That's awesome.
I don't like it. It's actually my biggest problem with the movie.
That's fair. I just like her. She's great.
I like that they
She
treat
is
like
great.
equals for like most of it, which I think is like why they're attracted to each other.
Yeah.
Not because like the boobs and the bod. Like,
But I mean, now that you mention it,
I mean,
he
that's
did do the
part-
crunch
there
thing.
is, his crunches.
That's what sold her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Her shoes.
her shoes, I mean, it writes itself.
It
But
writes itself.
it is cool that like they're equals, and then it's like, or hey, we could defend ourselves. We could probably get out of here and just kind of like,
Yeah. Which is nice.
yeah, we could disappear.
Yeah, and then Benji's kidnapped.
Yep. Benji's
and,
kidnapped from there.
And Lane calls and says
Lane calls, says, "You need to open the box."
Yeah, by midnight.
By midnight. And so that's when they go to steal the Prime Minister. So now that they've opened the box, gets in touch with Lane. Lane says, "Okay, meet me at this place. Come alone," you know, all that jazz. And so they go to this spot, opens up the box. It's a bunch of bank accounts. It's all the money. It's all the money that was used to fund the Syndicate.
They open it before they go there. Because they put on
Oh,
a laptop
you're right.
and Ethan is like looking
You're
at
right,
all of
you're
it.
right. Yeah. So Ethan's looking all over it, and he looks at it, and then you see him take a power drill to the flash drive.
Yeah.
Right? Which is crazy. And all you know is that like he does that, and that Brant and Luther are building something. Don't know what's going on. They're clearly like okay, like we don't have a lot of time to get this thing done. So Ethan goes to meet with Lane, but Lane's not there at this little cafe. Lane's guys are there, Benji's there, and Ilsa's there. And Benji turns to, like, when Ethan steps up to the table, Benji turns to Ethan and then says, like, "This is the end, Mr. Hunt." And you're like, wait, what? And then you realize he's got an earpiece on and a contact lens in, and he has a bomb vest on that's about to go off. He's sitting on a pressure plate, just so Ethan can't try anything funny. And so Ethan says, okay, you want your drive? I destroyed it, but I'll tell you what. How's this? And he writes down a number on a napkin. He says, I will give you $50 million. So he says, all right, listen, I'm going to give you $50 million. You let Benji go. And it's an account from the drive. Ethan has memorized all of the accounts.
Because he's Batman.
Because he's Ethan Hunt. He's better than Batman.
Yeah.
Hashtag better than Batman. Follow that on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter for more
Follow us when you
discussions.
see us.
See something. Say something.
Nope, cut that one out. Cut that one out.
Yeah.
Doesn't he read the account out loud to like?
He
and then-
writes it on a napkin.
He writes it on a napkin and
He
holds
shows it to
Lane.
Yeah. So that Lane,
Lane checks it, and he's like, "That is an account."
Yeah, $50 million.
And so the bomb vest is about to go off, and he's like, "Listen, you're gonna lose all your money if you let this go off, because I'm the only one who knows all the accounts. I'm the only one who has all that information. You need me alive, but you don't need Benji. You don't need us to let them go." And so Solomon Lane turns off the bomb vest, tells Benji how to get it off. Benji takes it off, and Ethan says, "All right, go join Brent and Luther. Like, go meet up with them. We're gonna be okay." Ilsa and Ethan kind of have like a look to each other. Vinter asks Lane, like, "Hey, what should I do?" He says, "Kill the girl, but bring me Hunt. I need him alive." And so Vinter and his guys start moving in. And then that's when you get the awesome action sequence of Ilsa grabs the gun, uses Ethan as a human body shield, and shoots the guys, and then they all take off. Giant action sequence. Like, they're all running through the streets, going after individual, people. The bad guys are going after Ethan and Ilsa individually. They both take different paths, which I like that her path is kind of graceful, like slipping between stuff, and Ethan's is just wrecking through stuff. He breaks like 4 different glass windows in this, in this sequence alone. Like, he just keeps busting through stuff.
He still has a concussion.
Again, luck. So Vinter goes after Ilsa. Ilsa and Vinter have a really cool fight, and she kills him, which is awesome. Again, doing like the hopping on top of him thing.
Yeah, it's like the same move as the guy from the hotel.
But this is like fully breaking his neck this time.
No, she
didn't
stabs
break
him in
it.
the chest.
Oh, that's right. She does stab him in the chest. That's right. She stabbed him in the chest.
Bye,
and
Bone
he like
Collector.
descends.
Bone Daddy.
Bone did that Doctor do?
You can't say Bone Daddy.
Too late. It's the
Bone
name of the
Doctor?
podcast. Bone Doctor.
Bone Doctor. More like dead. That's it.
It's Doctor.
Nope, it's dead.
Bone Doctor. More like
Doctor, don't you're dead.
Rammstein.
More like stupid.
Bone Doctor. More like Dr. Duhaschnitz.
Do us, me.
So she kills him. So then Ethan's taking care of all the guys who are after him, and then Lane shows up in a car.
Cheater.
And Lane takes off after Ethan. Ethan is like limping away. He's going pretty slowly. He goes into this building. Just out of luck, there's like a hole there, right? And so he just drops into this hole in the ground. Lane's got a gun, is going after him, drops down, sees Ethan on the ground right in front of him, looking pretty hurt. Lane goes to move forward and boom, walks right into something. There's a glass wall there. And that's when we find out what they were building. They were building a little glass cell for him to trap him.
Like some sort of mousetrap.
It's like a mouse trap. They trap him in a glass case.
Yeah. It's a good callback to the beginning of the movie when Ethan was
When Ethan was in
trapped
the glass case. Yeah. And he's trying to shoot at Ethan, And then
He's going around trying to shoot all
and
of
he's
them.
trying to shoot at all of them as they all walk onto the four sides.
Well, okay,
and then, like
wait,
Ilsa
so he-
walks up behind Ethan, like he's just trying to shoot all of them.
Yeah.
He's unloading his gun.
It like, starts to fill with the gas.
Yeah.
He's still just like
He's still unloading, like
And they do a callback like directly because doesn't Ethan say something when him and Solomon are talking, like by the end of the night I'll have you.
yeah, he does, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Ethan's
so he calls back to he's like, I told you I'd have you like in a glass box, something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, Solomon Lane, meet the IMF. And then that's when they pump the gas in, and like Lane's trying to, and he gets knocked out by the gas.
And credits play again.
And then, Ethan pushes over the glass
love
case.
Lights a match.
Just a bomb inside there with Lane and just
I send an electronic charge up your nose. Sound familiar? And so they've captured Lane. This is the first Mission Impossible movie where the bad guy doesn't die.
Yeah.
They straight up capture him. They put him in a truck, put him in a paddy wagon, and he gets taken off. Ethan tells Ilsa, like, now you're free. Like, you're good. You're clear. And she's like, all right, good. I'm getting out of this. And she takes off. She says, you know how to find me if you need me. She takes off. Lipstick.
Nope.
Take that ring off, yo. So, you know, the IMF have won today. And they've also proven to Hunley that there needs to be an IMF. And so we see a scene where Hunley is back in front of the council, in front of the committee, and the committee's like, listen, 6 months ago you told us to break up the IMF. Why are you here now? Why do you say that the IMF is important? And he's like, listen, this is all part of a plan. Only I and a few IMF members knew that this plot was going down to take down the syndicate. We thought that maybe our government was corrupted. We knew that British intelligence had been infiltrated. This has all been a plan. The hunt for Ethan Hunt has been a plan. This was all just played very close to the chest. And
Gordon's actually alive.
Gordon's actually alive. He couldn't tell him to protect his family. I
love how they turn to Brant and they're like, is this true? He's like, I can
can
neither
neither confirm or deny any kind of mission activities. And so Brant and Hunley are walking out of the committee, and Brant says, welcome to the IMF, Mr. Secretary, because Hunley's just been made a new secretary, and credits. And one of my favorite things about the interview with Christopher McQuarrie is that he talks about how the company that did the credits gave him two really good credit sequences. Sizzle reels.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to use both. And so he used one at the beginning of the movie and one at the end of the movie.
And it's this nice end cap. Yeah.
It's a nice end cap. And it works perfectly. It goes backwards. So Ving Rhames is the first one to be introduced, and it ends with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
It's a really nice touch.
It's funny because I think it also with Alec Baldwin's character, oh, you guys just seem like you've just been getting lucky. And then basically they prove that.
This is all just luck.
And then
but now he's in on the joke, and he's like, hey, it's kind of a good time.
It's kind of like the luck we need. Yeah, exactly.
It reminds me of there's this quote, I can't remember who it's from, but it's basically the more skilled you are, the more luck you have.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
It's literally that. That's
it is you make your own luck kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dark Knight.
It
It all comes back around.
all comes back around. Yeah, I still like Ghost Protocol slightly more.
Same. I like
It has better
a degree or two
character moments in my opinion.
I think it's got better character moments, and also the team dynamic feels better.
I like the team dynamic of Ghost Protocol
Because
a lot more
there really
than
isn't
this.
more than two agents or people together.
Yeah.
They're all working as a team as pairs though.
Yeah.
And Ghost Protocol has a little bit more everyone's there to help.
everyone plays a part.
Everyone has a hand in.
consistently.
Yeah.
Everyone has something to do consistently in Ghost Protocol.
But we see so much growth, and I think having Christopher as helping write the script and be a part of Ghost Protocol makes it a perfect transition.
it flows. Yeah.
And if you look at his IMDb, he is Tom Cruise's handler basically.
Yeah.
He's worked with him on
He's
many
his athlete.
movies, so it's it works so well that he's taking over that franchise kind of, and
Oh, yeah.
it's it's really good. I felt like Rogue Nation also touches on a lot, like what Brad Bird did with like making notes to the other movies. This does it too, and like kind of like doubles that, especially with Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, this one really builds on the combining the action and comedy.
Yeah.
So McQuarrie's just been really good about that since he started.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Mission Impossible movie. It's my favorite one.
There's something about Brandt in this one that I really dislike. He's too like it. In the previous one, he was negative and like he was, but he's like the audience surrogate. He was just like pointing out like, this is crazy. We shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But in this one, he just feels like an ass. It's weird.
That's because he's got the cozy government job now.
Yeah, he's more
That's the thing, like,
bureaucratic.
Yeah,
But like
he's a bureaucrat now.
He's like sort of forced into it though, and like when he interacts.
Yeah,
with
but he
people,
embraces it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like when he interacts with the teammates, he's like just a dickhead to him, with Luther, and then when he's just arguing with Ethan in the safe house, which he
did
sort
a
of
lot in
he
Ghost
did, but like they do
Protocol.
it different in this somehow. It's like he just seems negative, like whereas in the other one he's just like pointing out like this is bad.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I really think it's because he's not used to being in the field anymore. I like to think that like
I don't-
since Ghost Protocol, like he's been made like a bureaucrat.
I don't think I can give it that much credit of that.
Okay, that's entirely fair. Listen, I might just be making a story in my head, man.
he
Like,
was
that's cool.
Before this he was out of the field way longer.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I got a taste of the field life again. Got to feel a gun in his hand.
So, how many opening sequences are we going to give this out of? How many cuts?
How many opening sequences do we have that didn't make this podcast?
I would say, I don't even can't remember what I gave Ghost Protocol.
you gave Ghost Protocol 9. I think.
9. I'd give this 8.5.
I'd give this an 8, which is what I gave number 3,
Okay.
which are both really solid.
What did I give Ghost Protocol? Do you remember?
I think we all gave it a 9.
I think we all gave it a 9.
You may have given it 8.5. I can't remember.
I thought maybe I gave it maybe a little higher than like an 8.5.
Yeah, I think
like around
I think
the
you
9?
said like a 9, and you're like, if you wanted to be like more accurate, it was like
Yeah.
8 points, like 8
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Maybe this a 9.2 then.
Okay.
9.2.
It's a notch above the rest.
It's a notch above the rest.
This one
Locked,
has like
ready to rock.
a better villain than Ghost Protocol, and also the plot's a little more.
Sean Harris rocks.
Yeah,
There's a lot of, and once again, Christopher McIver talks about how
And his long, beautiful hair.
he talks about how like the plot of the movie is like has like this magic MacGuffin that it changes to be what it needs to be.
Yeah.
yeah.
And how like the codes are like the thing they're chasing for Ethan, it has to like Solomon has to make it believe that Ethan is like after this like thing that will expose everybody and not just money, because otherwise Ethan wouldn't go for it. But Solomon just needs the money to like fortify the syndicate.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's
it's
cool
the
that
balance of like
it's like
what
this
everyone
MacGuffin thing.
needs.
And when you hear about how like they made the movie and like what was going to happen, it's kind of like everything is moving and changing. Like Isla's the character is like changes and we don't know who she is, and like
Yeah.
the audience sometimes is like, oh, she is good, or wait, but she's meeting the bad guy. Like, who?
I love that bit where he talks about like she never lies.
Yeah.
Like whether she's talking to Ethan or she's talking to Lane, she never lies. She honestly just keeps feeding the information. But she's clearly like you don't know if she's playing both sides, like where she stands until you find out, and you're like, oh, okay, this all makes sense. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, I really like Ilsa, except I do not buy like the attraction between her and Ethan.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Honestly, I just think it's sexual attraction. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I think they just want to shut up.
See,
They want to smush.
like it,
they're both out in the field a lot, and they're like, whatever.
yeah, like that. Like I could buy like they have a connection because they're both
Yeah.
always like undercover and stuff.
It's like
especially
astronauts.
especially like when you watch Fallout, you'll see like I feel like that connection's even better.
Yes.
He's in a
Okay.
But yeah, and then the last quarter of the movie or so, I feel like it's darker than the rest. Like the tone is more serious.
It's a nice setup for Fallout, though. It's a nice transition if
Yeah.
you're watching.
It does shift. It goes because like I said, it opens with humor, and there's kind of humor throughout most of the action scenes. And then as it ramps up to the end with especially with Benji
It
being
gets like
like
decent
strapped.
stakes. The stakes are pretty heavy.
Yeah.
They're nice, heavy personal stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Fallout does it better. It
Okay.
does the same thing, but
I will.
executes it better
I
because
will-
it's still got the humor throughout the entire thing, but it's still got the stakes and just is woven together in a more palatable way. I feel.
You'll hear more about that in the next episode when we cover Mission Impossible.
Fallout. That's it's falling out.
I can't remember how the Friction song goes.
Girls of the friction.
Oh my gosh. Well,
That's such a good trailer.
so that wraps up this
Good job, Sean
episode. Thank you all for sticking around, listening to this. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you've been enjoying the series in review.
Yeah,
And
let us
Mission
know.
Impossible. Doing this series has made me really appreciate this movie and Tom Cruise a little bit.
Tom Cruise, great movie star.
Yeah.
Cruises.
Weird human.
Cruise.
Great movie.
Weird
star.
human, great movie star.
So, like I said, Fallout will be the next and final episode for this series in review.
Maybe.
Perhaps. And you can follow us,
At Captain Malcolm.
and you can follow Zach
At Boss Ross Jackson, I think.
And you can follow Logan at
that Logan, Twitter, Instagram. And also just if you can direct message, you can tweet at us, send in your questions, let us know what you
Yes.
think about the Mission Impossible series
Yes.
as a whole, as a Rogue Nation, as a Ghost Protocol,
as a
and
3,
As
as
a
a 2,
as a
as a
Mission
colon,
Impossible hyphen.
hyphen.
Thank you for listening. Share. That's all we care about. Give it a review if you want. We've been the Paper Robots. Good.
And we are the living manifestation of destiny. And we've made you our mission. All my tech notes are just like, that was genius.
Dope as fuck.
Literally, most of my notes, there's so many capitalizations. It's like, the plane sequence is awesome.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer of Vandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.